The date that this video is posted proves that these predictions are being made ahead of time, as do these time-stamped emails and forensic notes PDF documents. If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I will forward these to you. All right, this is one of the most important videos on this channel. I am predicting, or rather I am saying that God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel, is revealing that 2 dirty bombs will explode in Manhattan, New York City, and there will be a large-scale evacuation on March 22nd, 2025. The date that this video is posted proves this prediction is being made ahead of time, as does this email. As you can see, it was written 16 hours ago, but to give you the date here, March 11th, all right? If you are skeptical for some reason, please email me and I'll forward it to you, but I don't see how you would be reasonably skeptical given the post date of the video. Now, the reason why I say this is one of the most important videos on this channel is because the purpose of this prediction that is from God, the purpose of this video, the purpose of this video channel, the reason why God has given me a voice through this prediction. And make no mistake, I know far better than you the reason and purpose God has given me a voice through this prediction is to prove the controversial things that I am saying in these videos that are overwhelmingly revealed to be the case through God's prophetic signs, which will be proven to be true. God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections will be proven to be true, which is only being explained on this channel when the prediction comes to pass. And so what I am saying is that this prediction for these bombs on March 22nd will prove what I am saying in the title here, essentially, regarding the 2020 shoplifted referendum. Now, probably most of you, ideally not. Ideally, this video will reach those that don't know, because this is a mission from Christ to get the word out. It's not only for preaching to the choir. And on that note, if you already know and you are angry about the evil that was committed in 2020, like I am, then please obviously know, or please share this video everywhere you go, and not only in the places you normally go to commune with others, leave comments. I mean, go, in other words, to the places that you don't normally go. Go to the channels and websites or wherever to get the word out regarding this video that are of the enemy. Okay, the political left. Now, this will prove, the prediction will prove that the referendum was shoplifted. And let me just explain. God pairs 9 and 44 together in his signs. This is how it works. This is true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections 101. And this is how it works too. God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, which is only being explained on this channel, works on the principle of second and third and multiple witnesses confirming a matter as the Bible says is required. And this is what makes what is being explained on this channel true and not a product of one's imagination, and different and unique than everything else on the internet that claims to be an analysis of God's prophetic signs. And if we think about it, one simple way in which God would provide a second witness for us is through pairing certain numbers together, such as 9 and 44. And I know these are the numbers because I have been studying his big picture of signs from morning until night for more than full-time hours for more than 7 years. And the primary reason for it is because it's a tool God uses. These numbers symbolize the Antichrist, and God uses this to reveal more knowledge, not just the revelation of the identity of the Antichrist, who was the 44th president who was inaugurated in 2009. All right? So God pairs 9 and 44. 9/11, I'm talking about 9/11 in 2001, the big warning of judgment from God, as in warning for America's destruction, which is explained in other videos. I want to keep this video short. 9/11 was exactly 999 weeks. God repeats a number 3 times for emphasis of its symbolic meaning. The number 9 is the most important number in God's true big picture of signs, patterns, and connections, as from the Bible it symbolizes God's judgment. This is why, for example, the Antichrist was inaugurated in 2009. It symbolizes God's judgment that was promised on 9/11. And on 9/11, 44 people died on Flight 93 that was crashed into the field in Pennsylvania. 93 hints at 3 9s. That pairs with the 44 deaths. Furthermore, from the 44 deaths on 9/11, we are talking about here this 999 weeks exact connection. So 9/11 was exactly 999, a repetition of the symbolic meaning to emphasize it. Weeks, 999 weeks exactly before the shoplifted referendum, which incidentally was the 17th prime number presidential election. And God pairs 17 and 9 together as well, because the Antichrist was the president from 09 until 17. That's one reason. Okay, but that's aside from the direction of this video here. Let's return here. 9/11 was exactly 999 weeks to the shoplifted referendum. The DEEP state shoplifted the referendum for the White House on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. 1600 is 4 times 400, which hints at 44. Also, by the way, the number 400 symbolizes the Antichrist from the Bible, as the Israelites were persecuted and escaped the persecution from the king of Egypt, a type for the Antichrist, after 400 years. But anyway, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is a hint from God that identified the Antichrist, the 44th president, because 16 is 4 times 400, which hints at 44. The Antichrist dwelled in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, the DEEP state shoplifted the referendum for the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue White House. 999 weeks after 9/11, and exactly, and I mean exactly, 4 times 400 days before the DEEP state will detonate dirty bombs in Manhattan on March 22nd, 2025. That is an astounding, extremely simple, clear pairing of 9 and 44. 999 weeks followed by 4 times 400 days, by these 2 actions from the DEEP state, the shoplifted referendum and the predicted bombs on March 22nd. And so, in other words, not only am I predicting, or not only will this prediction prove the shoplifted referendum, that it was shoplifted, but it will also prove who shoplifted it. Well, that would be obvious in the case of the referendum. But it's also proof of who will be behind the predicted dirty bombs. From the big warning of judgment on 9/11 in Manhattan, it is exactly 999 weeks, followed by 4 times 400 exact days to the follow-up to the warning and the destruction that was promised, warned of on 9/11, with this prediction of the detonated dirty bombs in Manhattan on March 22nd. I think it should be clear without even saying so, but when this prediction comes to pass and when it proves that the referendum was shoplifted, it will also obviously also prove many other things, including that the mainstream left, because the mainstream media is left, and it is a civil war, and the first casualty of war is the truth. It will prove that the mainstream left media is wicked and is against God. It is lying, it is wicked, it is evil, and, well, what can I say? It's a big lie. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There is so much. What this will prove is essentially everything of the left today is a lie. Everything. But the media is shares a huge part of the responsibility, as it is propaganda. But there is also the gullibility of those that want to believe the lies, including the lie of the shoplifted referendum and how it wasn't shoplifted. I mean, those that really didn't want Trump to win were eager to believe the lie, right? And so they're also responsible, because the truth was very easily learned. It could have been easily learned had they stopped watching the left media, which obviously in 2020, one should know that it is of the left. It's been decades in the making that the media has been biased to the left. I mean, many decades, but has gotten progressively worse over time. And if one doesn't know that we live in a civil war today and that you can't get the truth from the left media, because there's always two sides to the story, always, then they're sharing in the responsibility. They're also guilty. Now, what I mean by that is that they are literally guilty in the eyes of God of shoplifting the referendum. Those that eagerly bought into the lies because that's what they wanted to believe are also guilty. That's the way a democracy works, right? They're a citizen, they're responsible, and they followed the lie, and they therefore participated in the shoplifting of the referendum. But this is only symbolic. I mean, yes, it was very bad, and it led to many, many things during the 4 years, for example, that were also extremely bad and evil. So it's all tied together, but it also is symbolic. And I alluded to it a second ago. It is symbolic of the spiritual war that is going on, and those that are on the left being, whether they know it consciously or not, in rebellion against God and his ways. Okay? And so it's time to repent. Okay? And it's also time to stop consuming left media, because it's corporate propaganda media. Anyway, it'll also prove that this isn't the only example of the propaganda of the left. It's daily, nonstop. And so it's so bad. It's why we have a civil war. The people that get their news and information from their left bubble, including the mainstream media, have no idea, essentially, of what is really going on. And this should be a wake-up call, a massive wake-up call. That's the purpose of this. It is to shock you. The reason God is giving this prediction through this video is to shock you into reassessing everything. Everything that you think you know isn't true. I could just go through examples, but I don't want to make this video any longer. God has also proven other examples of lies through his big picture of signs. What I am doing right here, though, is proving that the referendum was shoplifted. But that should obviously lead one to realize that many, many other things on a daily basis even that they are believing are not true. I said I wouldn't start to list examples, But given this is about the shoplifted referendum, everything you know about the 6th day of the first month in 2021 is also a big lie. It is propaganda, and it is evil. It is corrupt. It is so wicked and evil. Everything that the mainstream person on the left believes is a lie. And like the lie of the shoplifted referendum, the purpose of this lie regarding the 6th day of the first month, or should say these lies, many lies, it serves to further their persecution of their enemy, true conservatives and true Christians, which is why they eagerly consume the lies, which makes them also guilty. Let me finish with saying that I would like to be even more clear, which is that every Democrat, every person on the left is on their way to hell. The reason for this video is to help you. This is the reason for this prediction that is from God. And believe me, I know far better than you the reason and purpose for this prediction. It is to shock you. And those on the left need to be shocked. They do not respond to intellectual conversation or discussing facts or anything. They need, hopefully this will work. Hopefully this shocking prediction will shock you into thinking a second time about everything that you believe. You are on your way to hell. Every single Democrat is on their way to hell. Every quote-unquote Christian that is on the left isn't a Christian. There is no such thing as a Christian that is a Democrat. It is an oxymoron. There is no such thing as a Christian on the left. There is no such thing as a Christian that is a liberal, as in capital L, Canadian political party. It is an oxymoron. Stay far away from those quote-unquote Christians that claim to resent mixing politics with their faith. These people do not have saving faith. They will not be saved on their current trajectory, on the current path that they are on. Psalm 97:10. O you who love the Lord, hate evil. These people on the left, including these quote-unquote Christians, do not hate evil. Never ever will you ever hear them talk about fighting evil. God is very highly interested in those who fight and fight evil. These people that say we don't want to mix politics with our faith, well, tell that to the courageous Christians that were responsible for triggering the collapse of the Soviet Union, which, as Reagan said, was an evil empire. If it weren't for the courageous Christians in Poland, well, I should say the courageous Christians in Poland are what was the catalyst for the collapse of the Soviet Union. These people that say we don't want to mix our politics with our faith, well, tell that to those who were responsible for the Christians, the courageous Christians, who were responsible for the abolishment of slavery. These people are lost, and so stay very far away from them. There are two classes of people. There are those who hate evil and fight evil, and there are those that don't hate evil and fight those who do hate evil, and those who hate those who fight evil. And that is where our culture war today breaks down. It isn't just a civil war, or a cultural war. It is a spiritual war. And the left that thinks that they are righteous and are better than others are in fact completely, it's the opposite. Everything is upside down. Everything they believe is false, including their false religion, which has become politics for them, and the state, and all kinds of other isms, religions that have replaced Christianity in Western civilization. the big underlying psychological reason for why they love their leftist politics is because it feeds their ego and it informs them that they are morally superior to others, including true Christians. That's the underlying theme. If you really think about it, all of these leftist politics and lies all serve to prop them up and convince them that they are morally superior to others. They are the Pharisees of our day. If you know the New Testament, Jesus was constantly criticizing the Pharisees, the corrupt elites of the day in ancient Israel. This is why Jesus chose as his disciples the poor, lower-class fishermen from Nazareth. One main thing that Jesus heavily criticized the Pharisees for is for looking down upon others and perceiving themselves as being morally superior to others, including the lowly fishermen from Nazareth. As Jesus repeatedly pointed out, the hypocrisy and the truth regarding the Pharisees, which was that their righteousness was not righteous. They were corrupt. The ancient elites, the Pharisees, were corrupt and were pursuing and worshiping the wrong things, just like the supposed self-appointed elites of our time. The contrast between the disciples, the lowly fishermen from Nazareth, and the elites of the Pharisees is exactly the metaphor that God is using for what is going on today. And these people get their supposed moral superiority from their religion, which is leftist politics. But because they are against the true God of the Bible, their leftist politics are in reality emanate from Satan, the liar of lies. And that's why all of their beliefs and politics are lies. I think I should add to the list of big lies here at this time and also say that everything about the CVD disease and the thing that supposedly was to counter the CVD disease is a lie. And it is also related to the shoplifted referendum because the DEEP state created the CVD disease in order to shoplift the referendum. And to make no mistake, I know far better than you the reason and purpose for this prediction that is from God, and it is to prove what I have just said. There is no debate. We'll finish up with the list here with the lies that are the supposed climate crisis. It's all lies, not even half-truths, complete lies. And also the mainstream left, mainstream media narrative regarding the Ukraine-Russia war. It's all lies, it's all propaganda, and they cleverly say that anyone that opposes anything they say is in fact Putin propaganda, but in reality it is them that is full of propaganda, and that's just a way to dismiss their opponents. They do not think, they are not interested in any sort of facts regarding the history or anything. It's a cult. All of this is a cult. Everything that I have mentioned is part of their religious cult of the left, including the Russia-Ukraine war and the narrative regarding it. It's all a cult. And so they're not interested in facts or taking a second look at contrary or contradictory information to what they believe. They're not at all interested in that. It's just a religious cult for them that enables them to feel morally superior to others. And that's the underlying psychological root of why they believe what they believe. And by the way, did you notice that everything that I mentioned, except for maybe the climate crisis lie, are things that cannot be talked about? And how in most social media platforms without being censored, which is why I had to use code words when I was producing this video. Let me ask you, when in history have the good guys been the censors? This should be the big red flag in itself. that those that are on the left are participating in an evil, wicked, anti-God cult. The censorship alone should make this obvious. And it is time to repent. And it's time to start figuring out how it is everything else that you believe is wrong. Because it is. And this should be the wake-up call. It's probably your last chance.